Hello, everyone. My name is Malcolm Shambana, and I'm here to present a topic under research methods, which is entitled Topic Research. Usually, novice researchers have a challenge with formulating their topic. They may have the idea, but may fail to summarize that idea into a research topic which acts as a guidance throughout the research. However, you need to bear in mind that a research topic is not the final position of that research, or maybe the wordings used in the research topic are not final. There may be alterations during the, the research course of the period of research. There may be alterations due to new ideas, or maybe there is a change in the scope of the research. So the research topic is not final, but acts as a guidance to how or the focus of that research. So I'll take you through this topic today, which will help you from now or maybe even in the near future formulate a good research topic, which in short you are formulating a good guidance on how you are going to conduct your research. Thank you. Research methods. Research topic is our focus today, and the learning objectives. This is what we expect the learners to understand or to perform at the end of this session is the learner is supposed to be able to explain what a research topic is, formulate a research question, as well as formulate a research topic. Formulation of a research topic is more like final in the line of our learning objectives, because that's the key, that's our focus today. That's a key topic today. The first two, explaining what a research topic is and formulating a research question, are the build-up to formulating a research topic. So we'll go by that manner, by taking those steps. That's our approach for today's session. So what's a research topic? A research topic is the subject that the researcher is interested in investigating. So if you want to understand a particular subject matter, that's typically your research topic. A research, in this case, we're not talking about general research, maybe researching on something within your maybe your premises or something within your home. We're talking about academic research. That's our focus today. And when we talk of academic research at your level, we are speaking of a thesis or a dissertation. There is a difference between a thesis and dissertation, but that's a topic for another day. We can discuss that later. But our research, in short, our research topic discussion today is focused on academic research. A successful research is dependent on how well the research topic has been formulated. So it's quite a critical subject, formulation of a research, because it becomes a guidance, that your research topic is a guidance on your research. It's a foundation of what you want to do within your research. So that's why I picked this topic, so that every researcher knows the importance of why they need to formulate a good research topic. A research topic which hasn't been formulated well, it will lead to other questions or even mislead the researcher himself, or mislead the readers or consumers of that research. Now, the question is, how do we formulate a research? A research topic formulation is an ongoing exercise. It begins at proposal stage and is subject to changes, refinement, depending on how your approach is changing. Maybe you are thought of reaching a particular scope, but due to limited resources and other capacities, there may be change in which your research topic is formulated. There are several steps a researcher can take to formulate a research topic, and these are the steps we are going to look at in today's session. And one of the steps is choosing the subject. E.g., subject, the subject which we are going to use as an example today, which has been in the media for the past, I can say, 1 month, is drought. In Zambia, we are facing a drought, and the president has declared it as a national disaster. So that's why I want to use this as an example in today's session. The second step is developing a research question on the chosen subject. So what questions do we have on drought? That's the second step in formulation of your research topic. What questions do you have on drought? We have picked drought as an example today. So what questions do you have on drought as a researcher? The third step, is specifying your scope of research. What boundaries, what levels are you going to reach within your research? This is very critical because some research questions or research topic may be very wide, and they might not be viable if they have to be covered to the fullest. So you need to set boundaries. At what levels are you going to reach? We will also go into details of the scope research. Also, there is a step where you need to specify what methods you are going to use in that research. Thus, then we can move now to how you convert your research question into a statement, incorporating the scope, incorporating even your research method. So in short, at the end of the final stage of formulation, you need to incorporate step 2, step 3, step 4. Actually, let me start from the step 1. You need to incorporate step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Then you would be done, or you would have formulated your research topic. A research topic is very critical. It is a guidance on how you are going to approach your research. Choosing the subject, that's the first step in your research topic formulation. There are several understandings regarding the basic research processes, and there is need to understand how all the steps are achieved or are approached. The researcher needs to be aware of steps involved in a research to assess the viability of the research. Because at times, you may find that this step or this method which I will need to use, or where I need to gather such information, is far-fetched. It's outside within my reach. Maybe it's in Australia and you're in Zambia and you need to interview somebody who's in Australia, maybe, let me put it this way, physically interview somebody who's in Australia, or maybe physically visit a site in Australia. So you need to know beforehand what is involved in your research. You need to establish exactly what is involved in your research. There is also a need to understand the institutional requirement. Most researchers belong to an institution or a research department in general, or even a university, a college, and there are guidelines on which that institution will want the research to be presented. So the researcher needs to understand the institutional guidelines of where that research is to be presented. All these have to help the researcher choose a correct topic which they can manage. The researcher also needs to choose a topic where they have interest, because that's when they are going to express themselves more with interest. There are several methods of selecting a subject of research. One of them is reading research documents, of course, done by other researchers, and identifying the gaps and recommendation for further research. Usually when research is done, there are some limitations which are highlighted within the research. There are some research gaps which are recommended by the researcher, where the researcher maybe failed to go to reach. Maybe it was beyond the researcher's capacity. Or maybe they think that this area needs some more exploration. Those are usually highlighted in that research report. So therefore, it's important that you read some other research documents done by other researchers, probably by university or other research institutions. They keep such documents, and if you have access to them, or you're allowed to have access to them, you can take that opportunity, see how far or at what level the other researchers reached, and where they left. If there is some area where you can pick a particular research subject from. You can also get yourself informed, keeping yourself in touch with current affairs. Like I mentioned, in Zambia, the main topic which we have, one of the main topic is drought. Zambia is facing drought. This year, 2024, we haven't received much rain, and it's really a topic which can be picked from current affairs. There are issues of also increased load shedding due to the results of drought. There are issues of being raised regarding farmers diversifying from using or waiting for regular rainfall, and they diversify to use of irrigation methods, drilling boreholes, etc., etc. So, current affairs will also help you come up with a research topic, because current affairs usually discuss problems at hand. The problem at hand in Zambia right now, which is going to affect the nation the past coming, say, 3 years, is drought. Before we find the solution, definitely it may cover the 3 years to 5 years. The current issue is drought. You can also come up with a research topic by just reflecting on your experience. You experienced a particular issue, a social issue, maybe gender-based violence. You experienced maybe even a disease, an outbreak of disease like we had COVID. There can be a research coming from what we experienced from COVID, maybe the change of behavior as a result of COVID. You can come up with a subject from just your experience. There are several methods on which you can come up with a subject for your research topic, but I've highlighted these three, maybe just to open up. You can come up with all sorts of methods as long as they are of your interest, or maybe they are stating a problem which you need to require, or maybe there is missing information where there are so many questions. The ideas gathered from these methods can be narrowed down into a subject. Usually, it's wide. I spoke of drought. Drought is wide. You can come up with a thousand, hundreds of questions on drought. You can come up with hundreds of questions on disease, on COVID. Several questions from just even your experience. But you need to choose now the topic that's going to suit your interest and that you can afford to handle through your capability, your financial resources, and so on. That topic has to be further narrowed down. It cannot be wide, open-ended. No, it has to be narrowed down. We'll go into details I think, in the next session on how you can narrow down a topic. But today, generally, we are talking of research topic formulation. And we are on step one, of which we have discussed, choosing the subject. Like I've said, the example today we are looking at drought, of course, drought in Zambia. I'll be using drought as an example because I picked a topic from current happenings, which requires, which has so many questions and people need to learn. Though we have the experience with drought before in Zambia, but now it's maybe recurring. So we need to learn a lot from drought, and it's a good, I think, research topic which may benefit quite a number of people in the respective areas. So, like I've said, it's a current, and I picked it from current affairs. A composition, definitely, a research topic is composed of a problem, like we have discussed, or a question. You are questioning what's happening, where is this drought coming from, how do we handle it, what is it affecting, how is it affecting a particular maybe variable, is it political, social, economical, legal. There are so many issues but it has to be centered on a problem. Your research subject or topic has to be centered on a problem or a question to be answered. So now, speaking of a question to be answered, remember our learning objective is formulating a research question. That research question definitely will lead to a research topic. We are getting into details on that now. So formulation of research topic, once we have picked our subject, we need to establish what we need to know about that subject. So many questions, like I said, will arise regarding that subject which you have formulated. For example, in our case, is the drought issue. You can come up with hundreds of questions regarding drought, but you need to pick something which is among those questions. You need to pick something which is feasible, something which you can manage as a researcher, something within your capacity in terms of resources and understanding and, of course, even interest. Some research question under, say, drought, I may say, you may ask, what are the causes? For example, when did Zambia start experiencing drought, for example? What is the impact of drought on the economy? Those are some of the questions which you can have, but I've listed only three, but you can have several questions. But you need to be very tactical on how you pick the question to handle. Sometimes you may combine the questions within those several questions which you have up with. You may combine the question to come up with one question which may give you a guidance to formulation of your research topic. Still on formulation of research topic, there are several types. This needs to be discussed now. There are several types of research questions. In our case, we will discuss three common ones. Remember, we are just from looking at examples of questions. I gave three examples, but within those examples, there are classifications of what that question is. There is descriptive, which is most basic type of a research question. A descriptive question explains when, where, why, and how something occurred through the use of data and statistics. This definition was picked from Future Lane. I quoted it from Future Lane in 2022. That's online. And then there is also an example where I can give, we are speaking of drought. Our example today is drought. So a descriptive question on drought would be, when did Zambia start experiencing drought? That's a descriptive question, an example of a descriptive question we can give. That's a research topic. But remember, it's so basic. It's a basic research question. Because it may give you even a one-off answer. It's linked to a closed-ended question and it's very objective. It may say that, the answer may say that drought in Zambia began in 1980 and it ends there. So a researcher must understand that the type of question which has to be as the main question in the research has to be wide. It has to be open-ended. So when you go using a basic research question like a descriptive one, which I can say maybe they are low level, maybe even at primary level, that's when you answer such questions like, when did such thing happen? Where did it happen? That's very primary. As a researcher, definitely, you can only use this type of information maybe in discussing the background within your research project, but not as your main research question. There is also comparative research question. This involves comparing maybe one occurrence or a group with another. For example, what happened to that particular time, at that particular time, compared to what happened now. You're discussing events. It's also, I can grade this as a semi-basic question. Maybe here you can even, there is some level for analytics. You may compare the two by saying that this one is better than that one because of that such and such and such. It keeps you maybe, it makes you start thinking. You are not answering a one-off question like, what is this? When did this happen? Where you just give a year. No, this one is more on it's semi-analytical, but it can also fall into basic. It may appear also as basic because you can compare, maybe if the question is, you are comparing colors, a color of this car and the color of this car. You're comparing the other one is red, the other one is blue. You have reached that basic level. But however, The comparative part can also extend to maybe being analytical. Why is this car blue and the other one red? But it can fall into a basic situation. It involves assessing the difference and similarities among variables, those factors which you are looking at. One car and the other car, a truck and maybe a truck and a tipper, sorry, a truck and maybe an earth moving machine. Which one do you need to buy? You start comparing. If I bought this earth moving machine, it will bring me such and such a cash. But if I bought a truck, it will transport such and such material. That's you are just comparing, but you're also being analytical. But to some extent, you can even fall basic. So as a researcher, you need to be careful on how you are formulating your research question because it will also affect your research topic and your focus. For example, what are the similarities between the 1991 and the 2024 Zambian drought? There you can analyze. You can start with the basics, how it was handled in 1991 and what period it covered, compared to 2024, what period it covered, how it was handled. You can still be analytical. That's the goodness with the comparative. You can compare the two variables and also be analytical, but you can also slip off into analyzing it basically or maybe answering it basically. So a researcher needs to be careful on how they formulate their research question. I come to causal, and we are still on research types of research question. There is causal and relationship question, which involves assessing effects of an independent variable and the dependent variable. This is actually a very common type of research question under academic research. If you are doing your dissertation, you are doing your thesis, it's a very common type of research question. It's not basic, it involves analyzing. Definitely, it's at a higher level than the earlier discussed the descriptive and the comparative. This one is at a higher level, and if you are doing your thesis, it's a very common research question, type of research question, and it gives guidance on how the research topic will be formulated, and it's short. It's the foundation of your research topic. An example is, what is the impact of drought on the economy? Here I've put the impact of drought on the economy. It's wide. The topic is still wide. I'm still going to narrow it down. You understand it better when I narrow it down. Of course, causal, like I've mentioned, causal relationship, causal or relationship is the most common type of research question in academic research, but not on when you are doing your doctoral level, but on maybe your first degree or your master's. It is common that you compare relationship between two variables. They remember that formula, y, it's a common formula, y is equal to a plus x plus b. I won't go into those details. I've just remembered as I'm looking at the relationship that there is a formula of y, which is a dependent variable, is equal to a, which is maybe the slope or the other factor, by the independent variable. At times, when we even include the constant plus b. I can't go into those details. Today we are just focusing on formulation of the research topic, the basic formulation of your research topic. So we move on. We do not research on everything under a topic. So you cannot research the whole entire topic of drought in one research, because basically that's not practical. Or research the drought throughout the world. Definitely that's not practical. Because one, you won't have that time. Two, you won't have those resources to move around the world. Three, even your capacity will be limited. Your knowledge is actually not practical. So that's how we now move to choosing your scope. You need to set a boundary to your research. You can't just leave it open. A boundary has to be set. There is need to establish a boundary of your research question. This can be done in terms of geographical location, gender. Are we looking at which gender are we looking at? Or which country are we looking at? Which province? Which constituency are we looking at? From what period? Is it 1991 to 1995? All those. Age, what age are we looking at? Is it from 0 to 100 years or 1 to 5 years? You may have a topic in terms of a disease, COVID, how it's affecting people between the age of 45 to 65. There is a boundary which you need to set within your research question. And this also affects your research topic rather. There are several, even other demographics are put in place in terms of research goals. This is a way actually of narrowing down your topic to make it feasible and manageable. The scope makes your topic feasible and manageable, because there is the limitation of resource and time in the world. You can be given a very wide topic and it can even cover maybe your lifespan. But how are you going to manage it? Of course, you can't. So you need to set a scope which you can manage. So, for example, we still on our example, which is drought. We look at what is the impact of drought on the Zambian economy. Remember, earlier on we had just discussed an open-ended question which asked, what is the impact of drought on the economy? That topic was still wide. We didn't put a boundary. That topic would have even covered South Africa, would have covered Russia, Asia. You need to discuss all those areas. But now our focus is now limited to Zambia since we have established the scope. It's very important that a scope is established in every research question. In this case, like we have said, Zambia, which is a geographical scope, has been established. Other scopes may be established. You can extend your scope. Say, what is the impact of drought on the Zambian economy between 2005 and 2030? I've picked 2030 because 2030 has been set as a target in, is it our Millennium Development Goals? You can put a research there. There is that time limit. You have extended your scope. You have extended your scope not only geographically, but also using the time frame. You can even put maybe even now this time we are not looking at age. At times, your institution may require that you also indicate the method which you are going to use in your research. Remember, we have got qualitative methods, quantitative method, or mixed method. However, some research topic are quite obvious and descriptive, that to an extent that they already mention what method you are going to use. If it's qualitative, they mention, but without actually being explicit, but implicitly, they mention that this method is qualitative or quantitative or mixed. So a researcher must know beforehand method to be used in order to understand the viability of the research topic. Actually, even the user, the reader of that research topic will know that this research is going to focus on computations, or it's just going to discuss a topic which is maybe subjective, or maybe it may be computation which may be objective, or it may be mixed. Some institutions require that you establish that within your research topic. We go now to our final stage, where you now formulate your research topic from the research question which you have established, from the scope which you have established, from the method which you have established. So at the end of the day, what do we have here? Our research topic will be the impact of drought on the Zambian economy. We have removed the what, how. We have changed the question into a topic by removing the what, how, why, when, and therefore we have formulated our research topic. And we have also indicated the type of method which we are going to use. At times, though, I mentioned that the method is optional. It may be dropped or may be implicit within your first phrase of the topic. And in that case, you may drop it off. Or maybe the institution where you are doing the research may not require that you include the, the method you are going to use within your research topic. Hope this session helps you formulate your research topic. You may like my YouTube account for additional research method subjects. I'm available actually even for your answers, your questions, and I'm available to respond to your questions. I'm available to answer your questions. Thank you for listening. Malcolm Shambana is my name. Thank you.